Hello, this is Darren with Save the Panel. Today we are going to do a little project that I actually did several months ago and talked about on Reddit. Someone had contacted me and said, please, can you document how you did that? And I said, sure. So here we are. And that project was to add a additional strobe and siren to an IQ4 panel in a way that was not directly connected and very portable. You could put it maybe anywhere else in your house. In my case, I use this in my garage. There is a motion sensor in my garage, but that does not trip the alarm. I use it just for informational notices to my phone, but I also can attach it to the strobe. So if we're armed away, someone walks in my garage, this strobe and alarm goes off kind of as a pre-warning to anybody who's in there. And then, of course, once they trip additional sensors to come into the house, then the IQ would take over. But I also use it as just a supplementary strobe. So if there is an alarm on the panel, this is actually visible from the street. So authorities coming by can see and hear actually the alarm going off because it's in an advantageous location. So the parts for doing this are this SECO alarm. This particular one is a strobe and a siren all in one. It is configurable. You have different light displays. You can turn off the audible portion if you like, and also change the color of the lens here, which is also handy. We need a 12-volt power supply for this project. Since again it's intending to be standalone, I typically just use a 2 amp 12-volt adapter, and what that's powering in this case is this Zeus Zen 16 multi-relay, which I love these things. I've got a bunch of them. I use them for a variety of things. You could use a Shelly relay, Wave 1 perhaps, instead of this, but this was the original project. And of course, we're going to integrate it into the IQ4, and I'll show you the alarm.com rules and automations that cause this thing to trip. And here we go. So to wire this in, basically what we're going to do is we need to take our power, and in this case, we're going to use this little attachment here to connect power wires, which I'll do off camera here to the right, since I have an outlet to the right. Okay, so this wire here on the right, this is going to be our power supply coming in. I have it unplugged at the moment. And what we're going to do, if you look at this relay close up, of course, the 12 volts to power the relay go here, positive and negative. And then we're going to use relay 1 to turn the strobe on and off. So as this is engaged, it'll close the connection, send this off, and when this is opened or disengaged, this will stop. So just to make for neater wiring, I'm going to use some 4-wire and connect it into those ports in a moment. But in essence, what we're going to do is we're going to have positive and negative from the battery come in here, and then we're going to bridge positive to this side of the dry contact relay. And then on the other side, we'll send the positive wire to the strobe, which will be this red wire. The negative battery connection will go here and will also get bridged to the negative here. So in essence, we're just switching the positive wire off and on with the relay. Kind of simple. So again, I'm going to just try to make this as neat as possible, but I probably will fail. But if you want to watch, feel free. As you know, watch Darren struggle here, trying to do this on camera. So I'm going to do try to make some sort of color combination here. I'm going to do red for the positive, black for the negative on the power, and then do white and green for the two sides of the relay. So try to get all these in at the same time and snug down. Okay, that was harder than it had to be. However, we do have these in here. So we've got red, black, white and green for the two sides of the relay. So on the other end of this wire, and I do this to kind of simulate that, these don't have to be next to each other in the same location. In my garage, I have this in one project box, where this is actually in the box underneath the strobe, and I have it mounted upside down in my garage, and I actually have some footage of that I'll show you in the video here. But you could just bridge these locally, wire the way you think is neat. This is really for this demonstration. So so we have that wired. So now let's connect this up. So we said we wanted, and I'll use some Wagos here to make our life easy. So for the positive lead, we have the positive lead there. We have the one coming from the power supply. And then we want to send positive down the white wire as well. It makes sense to put this on the right. So it goes down the 1/2 of the relay connection. Then we're going to connect our negative terminal together. So we have the negative coming from the power source, negative to the strobe. And here, the switch side of this, of the relay, is going to connect to the strobe. Okay. Not okay. Somebody needs additional coffee this morning, and I think it's me. Okay. Would it certainly help if the negative wires actually had the negative from the power supply connection. That would work a heck of a lot better now, won't it? All right, so everything is connected. Power source goes here, it's bridged to this terminal, and then the switch side comes out to the second line. Whew. So let's go to the next step, which is adding this to the IQ panel. Okay, we're back. So I have my wiring in, and we should have power, and we do. We have a little blue light. I'm not sure if you can see that. So let's go ahead and add this. Actually, I'm going to turn my lighting down just a tad here. Okay, so let's get into settings, advanced settings, installation, devices, Z-Wave devices. I always like to clear my devices first, so we're going to do clear device. Press this button 3 times. So the device is cleared. So let's go ahead and add the device. It's discovered device 60. It's asking for authentication. Let's get out my magnifying glass. Okay, now when this adds correctly, you'll see that you'll get the 3 endpoints here. 60.1, 60.2, 60.3. Those are the 3 relays on the Zen 16. Sometimes when this adds to the panel, you may not see this. It'll just come up as a light. You'll only see the top portion. Something went wrong. You have to remove it and re-add it. I'm just going to change this name. And we're going to call this, I'm just going to call it Zen 16. And I'm going to name, I'll give this a shot, name in the endpoint. So the first relay here that we have connected to the Siren, I'm going to change its name. I'll call this Garage Siren. And we'll leave the other 2 just as light for now. We'll deal with them later. So now you can see we have this Zen 16 right here as device 60. And if we go out of this, scroll, now look, we have 60.1, 2, and 3, the 2 lights and the Siren. So if I turn this on manually, we're going to get strobes and a Siren. Are you ready? It's going to be loud. Okay, so it works. So now it's just a matter of programming. So let's go into alarm.com and set up some basic programming. Okay, so here we are in the alarm.com side of this panel. So if we look on our home page under lights and switches, we indeed have the new relay. So we have our garage siren and the other two connections that we just called light. And sure enough, if we were to click this, it does actually work. Just a glutton for punishment today, listening to that. But anyway, so so now that that is connected, the automations are really up to you. So let's go ahead and just build a quick basic rule. So we're going to do add new rule, select device. In this case, what we want to do is we want this to go off if the alarm panel is indeed having an alarm. So the type we're going to pick here is alarm. In this case, any intrusion sensor. And the device is going to be a light. And in this case, is our garage siren. And we're going to turn on the garage siren. Now, you can do this a couple of ways. You could make another rule that will turn this off after some other event, like the system's disarmed. Or you can do this timer here. I typically, just in case I'm away from home, I don't want it blaring all day, I might give this a timeout of, say, 10 minutes, but your mileage may vary. And then, of course, we need to give this thing a name, and we'll just say garage siren ring alarm. And we'll go ahead and save that. But then I like to create another rule, even though I have a 10-minute duration there, and that is when the system's disarmed, we want to make sure that this thing is not going off. So in this case, rather than alarm, we're going to pick security panel. So when the security panel is disarmed, we're going to turn that siren off. Okay, so we should have, I'll just filter there. So we now have those two rules. When there's an alarm, it'll go off. When we disarm, it'll disable. So before we get to the demo, what I'm going to do is disable the audible siren here on this panel just to save our eardrums a little. So to do that, in case you don't know, you can go into the installer code here. Installation, siren and alarms, the very first one is panel sirens. And you have the ability to put it in installer or test mode to turn off sirens for 30 or 60 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. That'll at least mute the siren here. So all we'll hear in our test is the siren here. So helps if I don't drop things. So let's go ahead and give this a quick test. But before we do, I do want to call your attention to one thing. Let me go back up here to alarm.com. Since these rules are notifying based on an alarm event, so when an alarm is triggered by an intrusion sensor, the alarm actually has to be triggered for it to go off. So in other words, if we look at a previous test that I did, let's see if we can find a good one here. That's not a good one. This one's good. So here we see we actually, we had a pending alarm because the back window is open. But sometime later, the system goes into alarm. This is based on your system's configuration. This test system, I believe, is a 60-second delay before it actually goes from a pending alarm to a full alarm. Once it goes to a full alarm, then it will trigger the action. And here you can see the garage siren is turned on at this point. So if you do your testing and you're thinking, wow, my automation rule is not firing to turn the siren on, it really is. You just need to wait most likely about 60 seconds for it to activate. And your panel can be configured a number of ways. You may or may not have this, and maybe a different delay time, but I just wanted to call your attention. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and arm this. We're going to do arm stay, and I'll simulate opening a window.
Back window open.
Now, of course, we don't have just muted it. Alarm.com notifications firing off, perhaps. But in about 60 seconds, once the delay expires, we're going to get the second alarm going off here. Okay, so after the delay went off, it certainly sirened, and as soon as I disarmed the alarm, the other rule triggered and turned this off. Otherwise, if no one had disarmed the alarm the way our rules were set up, that would run for about 10 minutes before this siren would disable. So that concludes this quick demo of how to integrate a second alarm device with a Zooz relay to the IQ4 panel. Just a starter kit, you could do a lot of things with this with this premise, even things that aren't an alarm or a strobe. Other things you want to have interrelated to alarm events driven by a simple relay. These Zen 16 and the Zen 17, both relays, I really like them. Especially this one, you get 3 relays at a really great price. Although you could do this also with a number of other devices. My other favorite, of course, is the Shelly Wave 1, which allows you to run off 12 volts and have a dry contact relay. So very nice. So as always, thank you for watching. Join the discussion on SaveThePanel.com, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day.